Hey YouTube, this is Andy talking to you tonight about the H&K USP Compact chambered in 9mm. First of all, let's just say hands down this is my number one favorite pistol of all time. The Mark 23 series, the USP line, all the way down to the Compact. This is my personal choice for concealed carry, usually during the winter time. And let's just say that this is the number one pistol that I would bet my life on. That if shit ever hit the fan, and I don't know what situations would ever incur to make me want to carry this all the time during a war type situation, but this would be it. I would fight my way through the trenches and the mud and bring this down to hell and back. This is my all-time favorite piece of German engineering. And tonight we're just going to start off, we're going to go over the history of it. So, the USP development began in 1989. That's when the testing, that's when the production process was started, and let me tell you, they put this through extreme testing, which I'll tell you here in a minute. That was all completed in 1992, but then it was released on the civilian market in 1993. And just so you know, this pistol, this series of pistol, the USP, is, and it has become the most tested pistol in all of history. The most tortured, the most rounds ran through. So let's just start off with the testing. So the pistol was frozen to negative 42 degrees Celsius and then fired, and then refroze again, and then heated to 67 degrees Celsius and fired again over and over continuously. And there was no actual visual signs of wear or, cracks or anything like that on the chassis and the frame. Then a bullet was deliberately lodged, and then a bullet was fired to remove the obstruction. And only barely just a noticeable bulge was present in the barrel. And then it was fired for accuracy with the bulge in the barrel. And this resulted in a group less than 4 inches at 25 meters. It was safety tested, drop tested. It was dropped from like several feet with the hammer back, with the hammer down. It was actually then like slammed up against walls. They tested it in any kind of impact scenario. I think it was ran over. Now the Mark 23 was fired for more than 30,000 high pressure plus P rounds were put through it. 30,000. And then after that, they fired 6,000 proof loads. And those are super hot, like should never be in a gun. And there was no noticeable damage or wear to the internal components or the chassis of the gun. Let's just say it right now. Okay, this is completely unloaded, YouTube. Let's get a good look down in there. Nothing there. Go ahead and close it up. Fire. Okay, let's start off with firepower. 13 rounds plus 1, so 14. I don't think that's too bad, really. I feel comfortable with that. I mean, okay, let's use a Glock 19 for example. It's approximately close to the same size. So the Glock 19 is going to hold 16 total, 15 in the mag and 1 in the chamber. I mean, you're sacrificing just a difference of 2 rounds. Most gunfights, only 2 to 3 rounds are fired, or a lot of times just the presentation of a gun, especially one this badass, will deter any threat. Yeah, I feel comfortable. Just always carry an extra mag. Try to practice that. If you can't, not a big deal, because the chances are rare that you'll ever encounter that. But yeah, firepower is substantial. So it does say on H&K's website that the effective range is approximately 60 yards. Well, it says 55, but I know 9mm can kill further than that. Let's just start with the Amazing, amazing hostile environment finish. This is a nitride finish, and I know it's chemically coated, and then some kind of heat process is done, heat treating process. But this is super hard. I mean, this is even better than Glock or the Tenifer finish. This gun all around is meant for Special Operations Command units, Navy SEALs. So basically, the German Bundeswehr, they are divers, just, they're Navy divers, just like the Navy SEALs. So this is meant for saltwater, and saltwater is the harshest environment there is. The desert's not super harsh. Even the jungle type climate, humidity, yes, that's harsh, but saltwater is the worst. And this is built from the ground up for saltwater. Okay. All of the internal components are Dow Corning anti-corrosion. It's basically a chemical treatment that reduces friction, wear, and reduces rust and corrosion through salt water and other elements. That's the thing about this pistol. From the ground up, it was built to withstand any kind of adverse hostile environment, weather conditions, snow, ice, extreme heat in the desert. They tested all of that before marketing it. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and take it apart. It's usually easier with the hammer back, so you always want to make sure the hammer's back. And so what I like to do is I like to actually put it up like that. Get the little notch right to the middle, and then push it out through the back. There's a little nub right there that you push out. Then you pull out the stopper there. Let it go forward, and it comes apart. Now, to me, that is an easy process. I mean, I think even a dumb monkey could do it. So, now it does have the recoil reduction system in it, and this reduces friction, wear, and prolongs the life of the pistol. This is actually HK's first attempt. In the before 1989, they just had the HK other variants with like the cocking lever, and they didn't have the Browning locking breech design where it rotates and comes down. But that's the special thing about this recoil reduction system, is this right here, when it locks with the barrel, actually some recoil is absorbed there through the metal itself, and then this little polymer buffer device here, actually, whenever it goes all the way back and compresses the spring, it stops right there, and it just really reduces the wear, and it prolongs the life of the pistol and the internal components. The barrel is polygonally grooved. See if I can get a decent view of that. I don't know if that's decent or not, but it's different than your traditional rifling. It basically allows more pressure to be, exhumed behind the round. It also prolongs the life of a barrel, and the only thing about it is you don't want to fire lead nose rounds out of it, because it can foul up the little grooves in there, the little channels. But yeah, disassembly is really easy. It's just a barrel, the recoil reduction assembly spring, and the slide. That's it. And then once you put it back on, oh yeah, don't let me forget to mention, everything that's metal on the inside, all these components have the Dow Corning anti-corrosion treatment process to them, so they're very smooth. If there was no oil on them, they'd be super smooth as well, and just anti-corrosive. Like I say, this gun is meant for Navy SEALs. In fact, a fun note, the Metal Gear Solid games, which I loved, I was a 90s baby. I played the first, second, and even the new one, I think Metal Gear Solid 4, but I finally realized that Solid Snake carries this gun. He carries the Mark 23 with all the accessories on it, the huge laser module and the Of course, a badass suppressor and everything. But let's move on. So, the accuracy of this weapon. So, let me tell you. I took it today, and this is only from about 12 yards. But, I mean, this is superb. And this is a small target. This is... Move this out of the way here. I mean, it's only about like maybe 8 inches diameter, but it's good. I mean, some of them I pulled a little bit, but look, you can see if you're really trying, you can get a close group in there. It's very accurate. It's one of the most accurate locking breech, Browning design pistols there is. And there's a lot to be said for that because, the Beretta M9 has the locking, almost Walther P38 style locking barrel. The PPK is super accurate because that barrel locks. Well, the lockup on this is superb, just like SIG. I mean, it's perfect. Yeah, and like I said, this was H&K's first attempt at that, and I think they did well. And that's why the price point of this weapon is so what it is. I mean, I paid $770 for this, sadly to say, but I've always wanted one, and I do carry on a regular basis, so I wanted something that I knew was never going to fail. And you can look up the torture tests, type in Mac torture tests, HK USP, in Google, and it'll show you. There's plenty of videos on YouTube where they just cram mud, sand, dirt, everything into this thing, and it still fires. It never fails. And that's just what I'm all about. Because I think in the end, everything is like that that's sacred. Love never fails. Hope never fails. Everything that's sacred to you is just, it never fails. And that's what this weapon is to me. I think it is the greatest platform. Not only that, but I think it's beautiful. Just the way that it's, designed and the way it looks and everything. And right now I'm going to take the time to go through everything and why everything is the way it is, every feature. So we do have an amazing grip. There's a lot to be said with this grip, okay? So it's very straight. It's 1911-esque, maybe even a little bit more canted this way instead of, like a Glock, which is more like that. But it feels so good in the hand. Whenever you grab this, it feels like you're shaking the hand of your best friend. You just know. It's just, and the knurling is just enough. It's almost like the knurling of a barbell or, anything that you really need to grab a hold of. It's kind of like little soft pyramids that are rounded off. And with the black type sandpaper, the black sand I always call it, reminds me of black sand, but it's perfect. I mean, it can be a little bit abrasive when you're wearing an appendix or if it's rubbing up against your back or belly when it's close to your body. But it's meant to be a hostile environment gun, so you need that. When you're sweaty and bloody, and like I say, I'll take a little bit of my stomach or appendix getting rubbed up and getting a little callus on it because this is perfect. And basically, a lot is to be said about just the straight grooves here, or the straightness of the grip. Like I say, Glock actually went back to having no finger grooves. They